Hey guys, this is Faith and welcome to Sacred Sunday. Just wanted to first say namaste and hello. I am so kind of filled with a lot of love, a lot of passion, a lot of heat, a lot of inspiration, lots and lots of good things. So, as you can probably imagine, this Sacred Sunday is going to focus on what happened yesterday, not just in Washington, D.C., but what happened all around the world. All around the world. Everywhere from Little Rock, Arkansas, all the way to London, England. Like women, men, and children from all backgrounds, all races, all religions were out in full force, chanting, singing, celebrating an awakening. Because that's kind of what I think about it. It's like finally, as a human race, some of us are awake. And that is so, so important. But more than just celebrating, we were out taking a stand. And that is probably the most important part about what happened yesterday. So just a few minutes ago, I actually posted something on my Instagram page. And if you guys don't follow me, I am Spiritually Fly on Instagram. So I'm going to read this statement that I posted on Instagram, and that will actually start the conversation that I would love to have with you guys around the topic of yesterday. So this is what I posted. Fire burns in your belly. Fight runs through your veins. Fierceness dances through your soul. Harness the passion and light your heart on fire. Yesterday was a beautiful time. And of course, November 8th was a defining moment. These key events changed the course of human history, which requires us to take personal, social, and systemic action. The spark that woke us up now has become a flame. However, this isn't new to any of us. Racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, and all of the things around hate continue and have continued to divide us as humans. As a world community rooted in love, on yesterday, we lowered our guard, linked arms around the fire. But now it is up to us to maintain the connections, build strength among one another, and take action to ensure the fire shines bright. Please share how you plan to keep the fire burning. So the reason that I wrote that, it really kind of stems back and is connected to work that I've done before. So years and years, and I think I've mentioned this before on my Facebook page, years before I became a yoga teacher, I worked in community service. I worked in the nonprofit arena. I started doing kind of like volunteer work when I was in high school and college, working around the HIV/AIDS issue. And then that continued on to working on the state level in Louisiana around community building and capacity building and creating behavioral change. Then I shifted into doing work on a national level. Same thing, I worked for the National Minority AIDS Council. I worked as a consultant to the Centers for Disease Control because they wanted people and individuals that actually had real grassroots experience. And then I went back to working on the local level. So I've worked on all the different levels around an issue that actually creates or created levels of racism and discrimination because someone was HIV positive. But the thing that I learned in working in that particular arena is that when we are fired up, when we are passionate, when we are committed to a cause, or we are finally awakened and our thoughts may shift as a result of an experience, because that's how we function as humans. We experience something and that changes our outlook and perspective on things. When that happens, our life is never the same. But as individuals, we have a choice to continue to create a shift and a change, right? We have the choice to take action. Either we sit and do nothing, and that actually is an action within itself, or we actually move forward, take a stand, and hopefully create some level of change. So my charge to you, and even my challenge to myself, and I start challenging myself right after the election happened. My challenge was, how am I going to create change? What am I going to do as an individual to utilize my personal skills and talents, the fire in my belly, the passion in my heart, in order to make a difference? Not just make a difference in my own life, right? But how am I going to take all these awesome things that I infuse in my own personal practice of yoga, that I share with my students, and actually support, connect, and make a difference in the lives of my community, meaning my family, my friends, my neighbors here in my apartment building? How am I going to impact the lives of the people that come to my yoga studio, the people that may be thinking about yoga? How am I going to make a difference in the lives of people that can't even afford to come to my yoga studio? What am I going to do in my own personal business to make a shift and a change, and to contribute to the well-being and the wholeness and the strength of the full scope of my community? And then the third thing, right, that third level, how am I going to create change and make a difference in the freaking system? How am I going to ensure that I maintain my level of health care without going broke? How am I going to ensure that my rights as a woman, but specifically, hey, my rights as a Black woman, are secure and safe? And how my rights as a woman, as a Black woman, as a human being, right, are protected? And how all the rights of all the people, not only in the United States, but around the world, their rights are secured, right? We are all humans at the end of the day, regardless of how we were raised, what we look like on the outside. The thing that I talk about a lot, we are all the same on the inside. And if we look down into it, if we release all of our layers of discrimination, sexism, racism, and so forth, we are pure divine love. And that's how we should function every single day. So my charge, again, to you guys, as well as to myself, is how are you going to make change? How are you going to ensure that that fire, that spark that we've created together, is maintained on three major levels? Three major levels. What's up, Anna? You marched in Chicago. Big freaking thumbs up to you. Big freaking thumbs up to you. So, what are you doing on a personal level? What are you doing on a social level? And what are you doing on a systemic level? So the reason that I'm bringing up those three things also is because after I marched on yesterday, I actually collaborated at All Souls Church for a teach-in. So I co-facilitated a workshop with one of my dear friends, Carrie Kelly, and she works with Citizen Well. And what we did in our workshop is that we talked about those three areas and how us as individuals can support, extend, connect, and maintain this feeling of passion and commitment in those three areas. And what can we do to continue to march, right? And marching, not just physically marching, marching in our personal words, our language, not only our verbal language, but also, I talked a lot yesterday in the workshop, our kind of physical language, right? Our nonverbal communication. That's even a march within itself. Am I actually looking in the eyes of my neighbor? Am I smiling at the people when I walk down the street? Am I acknowledging them as human beings? So I want to put the charge out to you. Please, 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 please post, make a comment, let me know what you are personally going to commit to when it comes to maintaining change, to maintaining that fire, maintaining that connection that was created in all of the marches around the world. Now, keep in mind, right, there's no judgment around this in any way, in any shape or form. I'm completely aware that not everyone will do the exact same thing. And also, there is no wrong or right when it comes to creating a shift and a change. The simplest action has an impact. The smallest of reactions has an impact. So, thinking about what happened on yesterday, there were women again, and men and children from all walks of life. But there were also people that may in heart have wanted to march or may have wanted to take a stand, but they were unable to for whatever reason. Many of them had to work, right? And I think about, like, one of the reasons why I personally march is because I know that there are women, there are men out there that feel the same way that many of us do, but they had to show up for work. They had to make a living. And that is a problem within itself, right? That someone is so tied, right? That we live in a society where we are not all treated equal, right? We are trapped in a financial situation that holds us back from taking a stance, right? Holds us back from even maintaining maintaining a level of personal wellness. So one of my charges and one of my things that I commit to doing is that I'm going to commit to fighting for the rights of others in every area and every aspect of my life. And wellness, of course, is such an important part to everything I do, right? That wellness has been a complete commitment, or one of my commitments from the beginning of time. And so because I am committed to the aspect of wellness, one of my other charges is to ensure that all people have a right to some level of personal wellness. Okay, so I don't want to preach too much. I just wanted to utilize this Sacred Sunday to just ask you guys, how are you going to stay woke? And what are you going to continue to do to maintain the fire that we created together? Please post it. Please share this video. Maybe someone needs a reminder that, you know what, the work that started, the work that we cultivated yesterday, the actions that we took yesterday and over the past couple of months, it can't stop. It should not stop, and it will never stop. But the most important part is that we were so divided and disconnected to the humanness of who we are that we finally, at some point, we came together. And the key here is, how are we going to maintain our connection? How are we going to ensure that as a human race, we are no longer going to be divided? All right? Thank you guys so much for joining me here on this Sacred Sunday. And of course, you and I are in this together, this entire fight for our own personal community survival. We are in it together. I've got your back, you've got my back, and we'll keep fighting. Thanks again, and have a wonderful Spiritually Fly Sunday. Namaste, guys.